Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. This is the second reading I'm doing with regards to the Canadian election, which is happening in October. I think 21st is the day we vote. Not sure about that. So the election has been officially called. That happened last week. And I received a email from a viewer, or a request from a viewer named Charlene. So this is for you, my dear. And she wanted an in-depth reading, sort of literally one on Trudeau and one on Scheer. So I'm going to do Andrew Scheer first. And these are the kind of questions that she wants me to look at. So she wants to know what his intentions are. Is he going to try to roll back abortion and gay rights? What kind of a prime minister is he going to be? Is he going to really sort of end up following the path of the Fords and the Kennys and, you know, even Stephen Harper? Although, to be perfectly fair, Stephen Harper did not have a personality, but he was really good at sort of balancing the budget and getting our money spent the way he, thought. And when 2008 came along, so when 2008 came along and the United States suffered that really severe economic downturn, Stephen Harper was able to keep Canada floating a little bit above that. We took a hit, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as it could have been. So, in some ways, I really don't put Harper in the same category as I do Doug Ford and Kenny here in Alberta, because there's something a little bit more dictatorial about their attitudes. There's a lot of that sort of Trumpianism behavior that comes from them. So anyway, that's just my little blurb on Harper. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take a look at Andrew Scheer. And we're going to focus in on him and see what we can see. So, come on down. And I have a question. Okay, so we're looking at... This way. Politician Andrew Scheer, politician Andrew Scheer, politician Andrew Scheer. Oops. Okay. Well, so what we have here is we have him carrying a very heavy burden right now. I don't know whether he is feeling overwhelmed by the demands, the time constraints, or he's getting more clarity on exactly what it takes to run this kind of a political campaign. Because, being what was he, a member of parliament in Regina, is not anywhere close to trying to become Prime Minister of Canada. So it definitely feels like there's like a bit of a burden he's carrying. And he's also not getting the money that he thought that he would be able to get. So it's putting him in a little bit of a position where he kind of is like taking leaps of faith and sort of somehow hoping that he gets buoyed up and supported. This does not bode well for him. I mean, not even a little bit. So what you have here is literally something that falls apart because the foundation upon which it sat was not strong and sturdy and well built. So at this point in time, it definitely looks like he's going to be losing more support than gaining, or at the very least hit sort of a stalemate and not really moving. So let's take a deeper look at this and see what is going on with him. Yeah, he's going to continue. Miss Ellie. So she was on yesterday's video. Clearly, she is becoming a camera hog. Get off my table and quit jumping on the window. You're not going outside. But we all love you. Now go do something productive. And don't jump on me again. Sorry. Okay. He is going to continue to move ahead and you know, do his best. He's not weak-willed. He's not easily defeated. So he is going to continue to move forward as best he can and move his agenda forward, his story. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, this just doesn't look good for him. Clearly he's carrying around a lot of worry. He's not feeling as confident and as powerful as he did even a short while ago. I think part of what happened is that he really expected to get a massive amount of support and, you know, everybody just clamoring at him. And what he has gotten is a little bit of a taste of reality. So what we know from the news, we know this. We know that between decided voters, the Liberals and the Conservatives have both exactly 35%. Okay, so they're really running neck and neck with regards to decided voters. However, Trump is, I think it's 6 or 8 points ahead of Scheer when answering the question, who would make a better prime minister? So he is facing some headwinds that I think he actually wasn't really prepared to face. I think he, you know, and this is true of everybody, it's not a slight, but when we believe something and we think it's correct and that's the right way, we end up surrounded by a whole bunch of people who think exactly the same way we do. So we're constantly getting the positives reinforced. We're constantly being told that's the way to go and that's the right way to take it and this is the good attitude. And when we come up against somebody who pushes back and says, wait a minute, not so fast, because this isn't going to work because of this and that, what you're suggesting, that's not going to work because of this and this, or maybe I just don't like your attitude because there have been other conservatives, people brought into provincial governments and we're really not happy with what's going on there. And when it gets right down to it, in many ways, Andrew Scheer is about the prairies. Full disclosure, I live in Alberta, okay? But he is sort of focused on that, and he is trying to ramp up the production and the strength of sort of like the economic engines, if you will, of that middle part of the country. So in some ways, he's really not offering a whole lot to the other bookends, right? He doesn't seem to be doing amazing in British Columbia. Ontario is so appalled with the Ford situation that they're going to be thinking 100 times twice over before they're looking at a conservative prime minister. And the East Coast, I don't think that Scheer actually has anything concrete to offer them in terms of improving what's going on in those provinces economically and otherwise, environmentally. So he's just coming against some headwinds right now, and it's not looking good for him at this point. Okay, so let's take a look at what his intentions are, what he wants to see for the country, and how that works with what the rest of the country wants to see for the country. Is he in sync or not so much? So he is hanging on very tight to his belief structure, okay? And in some ways, he's not actually very savvy about it, okay? I am positive, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the politician who said that because of his beliefs, he could not support or attend the gay parades that were going on just a few weeks ago. Well, okay. So does that translate to, because of your beliefs, you can't help, assist, offer support to that community? Like, at what point do your personal beliefs have to take a step back from your political position? And that's the thing, right? When you elect somebody prime minister, you're not just electing them because they think the way you think. You're electing them to the most powerful office of the land. And you need to have some sense of confidence that unless you are one of the chosen segments of society, that you are not literally going to be just put on the back burner and effectively annoyed. Or sorry, ignored, although maybe that probably does cause a fair bit of annoyance. So that's what you've got. That's kind of the energy that's going on. People are starting to get a little bit prickly about whether his antics are going to be a little bit too strong, too aggressive, and perhaps actually not end up serving the country as well as one would hope. This is a situation where in some ways he really, it feels as if he has a very good strategy when it comes to how to run and how to govern in a smaller setting, but not so much in a really broad setting. Because, you know, if he's been elected in Regina, well, that's because Regina more, you know, by percentages, more people agree with him than not. That doesn't work so well when you're running a country, because you can't just govern for the people who like you and who think like you. And I'm seeing that he's going to have a bit of an issue figuring out how to straddle those two sides, because so far he hasn't really given any indication that he is prepared to move beyond his the way he thinks and the way he wants to see things and the light that he is prepared to share on his belief structures. Now, do I actually think that he's going to try to rewrite some of the laws? You know what? Probably not. He's not going to get very far. He's going to get a huge amount of pushback because, again, even people who are conservatives and even people who like the conservative agenda, that doesn't mean that they are across the board conservatives. I mean, this is not like the United States with the evangelicals who are, you know, the stricter it gets and the more conservative and backward, the happier they are. Even people who are staunch conservatives may not necessarily agree with wiping out some of the progress that this country has made in various different areas. So he's going to discover that he actually doesn't have the support he had when it comes to trying to rewrite things that are already accepted and established. And honestly, bringing up abortion or anything around that is really, really just a Trump play. It is not going to serve him well. You know, we have abortion rights in this country, and they're well regulated. They're sort of well set out. You just can't have abortions, you know, late into a pregnancy. There's a lot of safeguards in place, and people don't want those safeguards messed with. So he's going to definitely get, he's going to have to figure out a way to address that so that he feels, and it sounds as if he is authentically concerned about actually all of Canada and not just the conservative base. Okay, so this is a little bit concerning, okay? We have Okay, here we go. We have the King of all four suits showing up. We have the King of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Emperor. This is a man who is more ambitious for power and control than is currently understood. And as this election rolls forward, I would not be at all surprised to see if people really start seeing more of the truth about some of his attitudes, and possibly some of those attitudes that he was trying to kind of keep below the surface, right? He kind of wanted to keep it a little bit quieter because on some level he knew it wouldn't play well. But it sounds to me, it looks certainly to me as if there is going to be some real indications of just exactly how forceful a prime minister he intends to be. And in a country like Canada, that doesn't tend to fly. We don't like that kind of aggressive politics, and we don't like leaders who are only interested in governing a certain aspect of the population. Okay, so this is just looking not great for him. Yeah, he's getting news that he doesn't like. A lot of that would be the polling numbers, that kind of thing. There's friction going on inside the campaign. He's starting already to feel a little bit embattled, like almost as if he can't catch a break. You know, he feels like he's not being presented in the best way possible, and he's not getting the coverage that he thought and anticipated that he would get. He continues to believe that he can make this work, and I'm not saying he can't. I mean, he has the Empress here, which talks about growth and abundance and nurturing aspects. So it's possible that he may be able to move some of the emotions that felt a little bit stringent into a softer self, so that maybe he will become more attractive to more of the population, more of the people. So I guess right now it would appear that that is his biggest challenge. It is to try and figure out a way to make this work to his advantage. He's up for some harsh criticism, and there's a couple of things that are going to come out that are really going to perhaps rock the campaign, and the solid base that he has, that may actually get a little soft over time. There's just a little bit too much Trump in him, and that's going to cause a lot of people to hesitate because, of course, what's going on in the United States is globally terrifying. And the last thing Canada wants is to be seen on the international stage as more of that, because that's not who we are. And that's not how we want to be projected. I would go so far to say that if Andrew Scheer wins, from the energies I'm looking at right now, if he were to win the office of Prime Minister, the hope that the international community felt with Justin Trudeau will be lost. He will be a profound disappointment to them. We've watched so many other countries fall to this kind of right-wing attitude. And Canada is like, that is not the reputation we want. We are very proud of the reputation we have globally, and we do not want that besmirched. Okay, so internationally, I don't see welcoming arms. I see a lot of reserve and a lot of caution, because it's going to be very apparent that he is very different than Trudeau. And where Trudeau has very sort of liberal and forward-thinking, progressive thoughts, the progressives actually have very traditional and conservative thoughts and attitudes. And so in some way, even though Andrew Scheer and Trudeau are relatively close to the same age, I'm not sure exactly, but they're very similar in age, while one of them is sort of moving forward, or there's an energy and a feel that they're moving forward. And frankly, he's moving forward against some trade winds because people, they want to pull back a little bit. Things are scaring them, and so they're trying to rein stuff in. But his thinking, his thoughts, his image, and the way he is received internationally is as young and forward-thinking and understanding the dynamics and the subtleties. Scheer will be viewed as someone who is trying to go backwards in time. They're trying to get to that place where Canada takes care of Canada, and, everybody else, well, forget it. We're our priority. And again, I've said this in the previous reading. This election more and more feels as if we are making a choice between we and me. It just feels really, really distinct. And what the me people don't understand is that leaves nothing for the next generations, okay? There is kind of no hope and forward thinking because you've restricted everything. You've pulled everything back. And what the progressive, that sort of liberal, let's move forward agenda fails to realize is if they try to push too much at us too fast, you are going to get feelings of rebellion and feelings that we're not as valuable as we should be, considering we are the citizens of the country. So it's a bit of a juggle that both sides are going to have to work with. And, we'll see how that unfolds. So that was actually a much darker reading than I expected to get today. I was expecting kind of the energy of, going backwards as opposed to forwards, kind of very focused on what can I get for me now, especially, with the whole oil situation. But what I got was sort of more of a stern and unbending energy than I anticipated. And I also got that sense that things are really not coming together in a cohesive way for him, that there seems to be a little bit more friction going on behind the scenes, some stressors that should not be happening this early in that 6-week election cycle. It seems very early for him to kind of feel like some of the bricks are falling out of his foundation. So, for those of you who like Trudeau, you probably enjoyed this. For those of you who like Scheer, I'm sorry if I have disappointed you. These are the energies as I read them right now. And there's a reason why I will continue to do readings week by week, because 7 days can change a great deal. Sorry, it's like everything else. My phone cannot ring for hours, and it seems as soon as I hit record, the phone starts to ring. Okay. So those of you who like Scheer, I'm sorry. I will continue to look at these energies, and a lot can change in 7 days. It really can. So, don't unsubscribe if I've made you upset. Please hang in there. Wait and watch the rest of them, and let's actually see how the election turns out. I am very grateful for the support that I am getting from my Canadian viewers and the interest that I am getting in these videos. I'm very pleased. I'm happy that as you have asked for this, I am, able to put in my 2 cents through the cards and the universal energy. So, for those of you who have liked my videos, subscribed to my videos, made a brilliant comment on my videos, and for those of you who have reached out for a private reading or have sent donations, I thank you. I am so grateful for the support I have been given, and I, just hope every day that it continues to grow. So, until next time, take care, be well. I'll see you really soon. Bye.